guess that you are all up at this hour, because I saw you last night. Welcome, Sheryl Sandberg.
Thank you.
Can you believe it?
Thank you, Lisa, for this incredible thing. I am so excited to be here because Lean In is all about voice and about women having voice, and I don't think there's a better audience out there that is a better example of the power of women in voice than this audience. So I'm just so excited to be with you.
I couldn't agree more. You guys are amazing. I gave a little preamble yesterday morning about what I thought of your book, and you've read what I think, so let's dig right in. You wrote that this book is what you would write if you weren't afraid. Why were you afraid?
So I think what the world does to women is they talk about or. Men can be professionals and parents. They can have interests, and no one ever tells them really they can't do things. And with women, they tell you it's or. And so for me, I was told by many, many people that I could be either a serious businesswoman or I could speak out as a feminist, but I couldn't do both. And one of the things that happened to me on this journey is Melody Hobson, who's here with me this morning, a dear friend.
Where are you, Melody?
Local Chicago legend that she is. I met Melody a bunch of years ago, and Melanie said to me that she wants to be unapologetically a woman and unapologetically African American. Woo! And that was a really important lesson for me, and I thought about the fact that I want to be unapologetically a business executive, and I want to be unapologetically a feminist. And I think I can do both at the same time.
So, were you afraid that making statements like, sad but true, men run the world, and the issues of gender inequality worldwide are a serious moral issue? Were you concerned at all about how that would play on Wall Street or with the boardrooms you've been in for years?
Yeah, so
you guys love that, right? I mean, especially in Silicon Valley.
Exactly. So they love being told that the world they've created is completely broken. So for December 2010, I was invited to give a TED Talk. And it was TED Women, but it was really supposed to be, I was supposed to talk about social media. And I wanted to give a talk on women. And everyone I knew, Melody as one of the few exceptions, told me I was crazy. That you can't speak out on women. Because get this, people will understand that you are a woman. I'm like, okay, that seems pretty obvious anyway. But for me, it's what you said. The blunt truth is men run the world. What I find so interesting is I say that on stages and the audience gasps, like look around, right? There's not a single country in the world that doesn't have 95% of its big companies run by men. There's not a single country in the world that has women as a majority in their parliaments. There's not a single country in the world where women have nearly as much voice as men, and that needs to change, and for that to change, it's going to take you, your amazing co-founder, the BlogHer, and every woman, as you are sitting there with your computers and your iPhones, blogging, not just what we do today, but what you do, you guys are changing that. It's going to take all of us working together.
Well, let me ask you about that, because as I mentioned yesterday, having been interviewed about Lean In by a number of journalists who clearly had not read the book, is Lean In only for CEOs and only for women who want to run for office?
Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, Lean In is about believing in ourselves and reaching for any ambition. So I've heard from mothers, non-mothers, men, women all around the world that thinking about what they would do if they weren't afraid has really changed their lives. And the stories range from a woman who went to her school district to fight for what she needed for a special needs child, to a full-time, work-at-home mother who went in and got a better teacher for her child, even though her district had told her no, to women who are reaching for the C-suite. It's about each one of us asking ourselves what we would do if we weren't afraid, and then reaching for those ambitions no matter what they are.
So when you look at what has happened since you launched the book, started leanin.org, Can you share with us what's happening?
Yeah, it's great. I want to introduce my amazing team. We're all wearing Lean In t-shirts. Can y'all stand up, wave? We're small, but we're mighty. So Lean In has had amazing reception, far beyond our wildest dreams. So we're announcing today, right here, that we've sold 1 million books.
Oh, congratulations!
Pretty amazing.
Do you know that if a woman writes a book, it's 40% more likely to become a bestseller?
I did not, but I'm not surprised.
So you're on the right side of the aisle.
Exactly.
Please, keep
exactly.
Because you have, that's a huge statistic. Congratulations.
Yeah, no, we're really excited.
Is that a bestseller in the United States only? How many languages are you in? Do you know yet? Like,
yeah.
what?
So we're out in 11 languages. There'll be at least 19 more coming. We've hit the bestseller list in lots of places. It's been the #1 business book in Japan these last couple weeks. It's been exciting. But I think more importantly is what's happened with the Lean In Foundation. So along with the book, this amazing group of women and I started leanin.org. We hope you all join us, either there or on our Facebook page. So again, we're announcing today we have over 250,000 community members. In 4 months, it makes us one of the fastest growing and most engaged Facebook communities out there. We've had 1 million visitors to our website.
That's great.
And what we're seeing and what really matters is beyond all these numbers is the impact it's having on people's lives. So 2 women I met, 10 minutes ago in this right here, a woman named Angela and a woman named Jennifer. Where are you guys? Stand up. Where are you guys? Woo! Okay. So I'll tell their stories. But Jennifer told me that she was a stay-at-home mom, a single mom, and after reading the book, she started a company, and she gave me her business card with what is a thriving company, and I think we're all really super proud of you. Congratulations. And Angela works at a company called Kids Too, and she told me that after she read the book, she realized that her company didn't have a social media strategy, and that she could be the person to do that. So she wrote it up, pitched it, and they've gotten every property they have on social media. And that's what this is about. It's about every woman who leans in, every man who leans in for equality. It's about realizing whatever our individual dreams are and leaning on each other for the support we need to get there.
You mentioned a great point when you invoke men. I was speaking yesterday with Annie from PhD in Parenting. There she is right here. And she said she was really interested to hear about how you are encouraging companies, maybe even your own employer, to support men who want to be more supportive of women, since women are now co-leading, if not leading, households financially.
No, that's right. It's really important. So Lean In has over 250 corporate and nonprofit partners. Everyone from, Cisco to American Express to Estee Lauder to small companies like TaskRabbit. Also nonprofits, Teach for America, the Hispanic Caucus for Congress, the Congressional Black Caucus, National Council de la Raza, all across the board, lots of different organizations. And what we're finding is that these organizations are taking the steps of talking about gender openly. Because what's really happening is we never talk about gender. We talk about it when we're with our girlfriends, but we don't talk about it where it matters, where we can tell our bosses and our colleagues the things we need to re-enter the workforce, or to leave the workforce on our own terms, or to do the jobs we have to do while supporting our families or supporting our personal engagement. And these companies are starting circles, and they're changing things within their own company, and we're really proud of all the work people are doing and excited to see the progress.
So that's really interesting, because your book is such a personal anthem, and you're very upfront for the people who haven't read the book. The first 20 to 40 pages is a preamble of, here's what this book isn't about, here's what I don't think I can change in time to help you. And since I can, I'm sorry to summarize you like this, but since I can, here's how I think you should change your internal game. That's right? So how interesting that something that is started about suggesting women change inside a system that's broken for us has evolved into meetings that are happening on corporate campuses.
Well, we did both. So the book focuses on what individuals can do, but the book argues, hopefully very clearly that one thing individuals can do is change the companies and institutions they work for. And so that's what we're seeing. People stepping up, forming circles, talking about gender in a new way. What the book is trying to explain is that there are these biases we have against women. And they're very deep and they start very young. So we call our little girls bossy. How many people here were called bossy as a child? Yeah, me too. How many of your brothers were called bossy? Raise your hand, go ahead. Right. So I do this all over the world. I ask audiences like this, and there are no men here, but we'll pretend I can tell you what happens. There's a couple. There's one, 2, 3. Gloria Steinem says that if you are a man and you show up to an event like this, when the inevitable revolution happens, you're going to get a pass. So this is the best investment of an hour of your time you could have made. And we are thrilled to have you. But we'll try with our 4 men. Please raise your hand if you've been told you're too aggressive at work. No, only men, only the men. Yeah. If you're a woman, please raise your hand if you've been told you're too aggressive at work. That's the problem. And if we're going to change that problem, we're going to change that problem as individuals, and we're going to change that problem within institutions, and Lean In is trying to do both. So I've been telling people, next time you're about to call your daughter bossy, you take a deep breath and you say, my daughter has executive leadership skills. Yeah.
So we asked our community on BlogHer.com and reached out across our 5,000-person visionaries panel. Within 5 hours, we had 300 really deep, layered, open-ended responses that I'm happy to share with you and the team. But what's interesting is we asked, what is your leading fear? What is your leading fear for any changes you'd like to make? Or are you fine? Are you already addressing it? Or you don't live your life that way? And we had the largest group of women who was afraid of something, were very much afraid that leaning in openly, like you have done, would threaten their economics at home, would really damage their position at their job or their earning potential. What advice do you have for the woman who's going it solo on the job, who wants to change this?
I mean, I don't think we should jump off bridges. I think financial responsibilities are real. Women are a hugely important part of supporting families, particularly single moms. You know, 30% of our kids are being raised by one parent, 85% of those are moms. But I do think that within that, women can reach. I got an email after the book and the foundation launch from a woman. She's 62. She went back into the workforce 15 years ago. She never graduated from college. As she put it, she's in a low-paying job. She went in because her husband lost his job, couldn't get another, had to support the family. 15 years, she's never had a raise. She read the book. She thought carefully about what she was going to say. She walked into her boss's office and she got one.
Right.
And so we are, as part of the foundation, the amazing Jessica Bennett, who's here with us today, made an incredible film we want to show, if we can roll, about what you would do if you weren't afraid. It's short.
I just got nominated for my second Emmy, and I still can't say that I'm a writer. I have the ear, you know, and I have the voice, but I feel uncomfortable calling myself a musician. A classical ballerina is about 5'4", long legs, long arms, pretty fingers. I don't have that. Are you afraid of being judged? I am afraid of sounding stupid. I'm afraid of not looking like I belong. I'm afraid of failure. This year, more than 1 million women will graduate from college, educated and prepared to take on the world. Are they ready?
They create this dream about going to college and finding a job and finding themselves, but really there's a lot of things holding women back.
Starting at very young ages, we encourage leadership in boys but not in girls. When a boy leads, even if it's on the kindergarten playground, we applaud him, we cheer him on, and we certainly don't criticize. But when little girls lead, they're called bossy. Over time, children internalize these messages.
I was always told that being sweet was one of my greatest assets, and being nice and polite. How do you figure out the best way to realize that it doesn't matter if everybody likes you?
Studies show that by the time they graduate from college, more men than women see themselves as leaders.
For many of us, the challenge is overcoming our fears. It's asking the question, what would I do if I weren't afraid?
I once heard that there were 2 different ways to look at fear. F everything and run, or face everything and recover.
If I weren't afraid, I would have studied music in college. If all fear were stripped away, I'd walk into the meeting and speak up.
I would march into my boss's office and demand more money. If I weren't afraid, I would tell the guy at the hall cart whistling at me to go screw himself.
Let's change the equation. Let's stop being afraid.